All right, back here on Good Better Broker from UWM Live as we bring in Nancy Bayat from eMortgage Capital out of Orange County, California. Nancy, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's great to see you, and congratulations, first and foremost, on all of your success. You are the number 12 ranked mortgage broker in the country for 2023. That's by Scotsman Guide. Number 2 ranked female mortgage broker in the country. So amazing stuff that you're doing, Nancy. 450 units for over 175 million in total volume, and that's in a challenging year for the industry. So how are you doing this?
Just discipline. I maintain the same discipline that I had in 2021 when I was crushing it, right? So I've worked 6 days a week, sometimes 7, and I maintain that. And by working 6 days, you actually gain 52 extra days per year, right? So what does that equate to over time? After 7 years, you've gained an extra year over your competition. So, I look at myself as being in a different league altogether. It's all about drive. The business is out there. You just have to go out and get it.
So clearly you've thought about this. You've thought about those numbers. And I would have to think that not only is that an edge for you in terms of the hours you are putting in to get work done, but mentally that has to do something for you as well.
I mean, mentally, it all goes back to discipline, right? How bad do you want it? And what are you going to do to get it? So the business is out there. We've lost a lot of loan officers because of the decline in the market. So that's just given me more angst to want to go out there and get it even more, right? The business that they had is now up for grabs. Go out and get it.
I love the determination, Nancy. You are big on referral business.
Yes.
You believe it's the most effective and most cost-effective way to generate new business. How do you go about getting those referrals?
Just staying in front of my clients, calling them on their birthdays, right? So they get calls from their parents and me saying happy birthday, right? Personally speaking, I get a lot of text messages for my birthday, from my friends and some family members even. So I think going just that extra step, giving them a call, saying that, I hope you have an amazing day, not asking for anything. A lot of times I'll just call and do a temperature check. How are you doing? How's everything going? I just bought a box of strawberries for $12. How are you managing? Right? Just having a conversation and staying in front of them. I try to do that every quarter. I call my entire book of business, and I've been doing this 22 years, so that's a lot of people. I'd also say that I have actually probably given about maybe 35% of my book I've put into second mortgages instead of refinancing their first. It's a better deal for them. They have really low first interest rates, so I've given them a second mortgage if they want the cash. So just staying in front of them that way. If rates continue to increase, that's going to be an opportunity to bring down their weighted average interest rate into a new refinance in the future, or just giving them the cash they need without having to touch their great interest rate first. So always just thinking about the client first, and everything else follows, putting them in the best position possible.
You talked earlier about discipline and how important that is. I know the consistency is also something that is a priority for you, and that involves your prospecting, technology. Give us a little bit of insight on that, Nancy.
Yeah, so we've been using Bonzo, and for those that don't know what it is, it's getbonzo.com. I'm not sponsoring, I don't get paid. This isn't a sponsored ad. I actually have a large account with them. A lot of my team members are on that platform, and it's remarkable what they do. I mean, it's like having every seat is like an assistant. And there's different marketing campaigns. You could put them on different pipelines, just send out videos. Like I have a huge pipeline of milestone videos. So when the file moves from, let's say, submitted to approved, they get a video from me. And this is the next steps. Your processor is going to be reaching out to you. It's general, but it's still relevant. And it takes one step of me having to call that client away because it's being automated, so I can go out and prospect for new business. I'm always prospecting for new business. I think another untapped part too is affinity business, right? A lot of us are going after realtors. Well, realtors are getting hit super hard. They're getting maybe 5 to 10 calls a day, if not more. So going after CPAs, right? Divorce attorneys. What happens when someone gets a divorce? That's 3 transactions, right? They need to sell a house and maybe buy 2. So now you're giving your realtor a referral, and potential business, they're going to turn back and give you more business back. So it's just looking a little bit outside of the box, and that's been really good for me. The attorneys that I've met, I'm doing great with that. So I recommend everyone goes out just in your 5 to 10 mile radius. Go out and meet some attorneys, take them to coffee, you know? Pays off.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Something else I want to ask you about that I saw on your socials, prioritizing effectively and limiting distractions. And you talked about the discipline that you have, but how do you do that? Because not everybody who's listening to this has that same discipline that you do.
It's taken time, and it's through time blocking. So my entire day is time blocked. If I don't have lunch time blocked, I have to carve time out for that. I have a teenager, I time block for her. Like everything is time blocked, and I follow it to the T, and sometimes it means getting off the phone because it's the next thing that I need to do. So it's training myself, okay, if I have a minute, how much can I say effectively in a minute? And it's just taught me how to kind of communicate differently, how to wrap things up quickly. I have a large team, so they need me a lot of times, but I have open windows for them. I can't, take their questions all day. So everyone just kind of has to wait, and it's based on, my calendar, and because that's what makes me the most effective, and it works.
I mentioned your production numbers earlier in the conversation. You've talked about your process and how disciplined you are and how regimented you are. And for those listening and thinking to themselves, wow, Nancy is a machine. She is an absolute machine. They should also know that you are big on making time for R&R. Why is that important given everything you've just talked about?
I spend at least an hour on research and learning because the market is always changing. I'm speaking to, high net worth people that know the markets. They have financial advisors. So I don't want to come in less than, right? So I try to stay really knowledgeable about what's happening in the market, different products, different programs. I think what sets a lot of loan officers apart is how to structure a file, right? It's a difference between an approval and a denial sometimes. So just staying on top of your game, I think it's like an athlete. Just because you win a championship, you don't stop training. You still got to show up the next day and train as if got another championship right down the line. It just is what it is. So I just never quit. I don't know. It's just, again, it's time blocked. So it's that's what I'm doing during that time block. And I have free time too. I time block my free time. So I value it differently because I know that I have this hour and it's going to be so precious, and I'm going to take in everything from my free time. And then when I come back, I know it's time to grind.
What does that do for you, that free time? And you mentioned you have a teenager. Does that help balance you out so that when you do come back to, what your next thing is on your work agenda, that it, makes you a little bit more refreshed?
Not only refreshed, but present. So I was always either thinking about what I could have done differently or in the future, what I'm going to do next and next and next. Where time blocking has helped me just stay in the present. This is what I'm doing right now. And when my alarm goes off on my computer, I know what I'm doing next. So I worry about that during that time. So it's really taught me to be present, which I've always struggled with. So it took me a really long time to get here, but my calendar's helped me.
Man, great stuff. You are doing some amazing things, and I think we can all learn from you and just, how to structure your day and the way that you approach not just business, but life in general. Nancy Bayat from E Mortgage Capital. Great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.